Have you ever walked into a room and felt eyes turn toward you, even though you weren't trying to stand out? Maybe someone complimented you out of nowhere, or you noticed people getting nervous or overly talkative around you, but you never understood why. Most people believe attractiveness is only about looks. But Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, saw something deeper. He believed that your energy, your mind, your presence, these things shape how people feel about you. And most of the time, you don't even realize how attractive you truly are. So in this video, I want you to stay with me till the very end, because by the time we're done, you'll see yourself in a new light. A powerful light, a magnetic light that Carl Jung would say was always burning inside you. You just didn't notice. This is Cognit Haven. And today, we reveal 12 signs that you're more attractive than you think, backed by the deep insights of Carl Jung. Let's begin. 1. People either love you instantly or get uncomfortable around you. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. When you walk into a room and some people immediately light up while others seem tense or avoid you, it's not your fault. You're triggering something powerful in them. Your presence exposes their insecurities or awakens admiration. But most of all, it shows that you carry a strong aura." So, this isn't just charisma. It's your psychological energy, the unconscious power you radiate without trying. That kind of presence makes people feel something, and often that something is a reflection of their own self-worth. You're attractive not because you demand attention, but because your soul speaks louder than your words. 2. People tell you their secrets without knowing why. Have you noticed strangers open up to you? Maybe friends or colleagues tell you deep, personal things, even though they barely know you. This isn't a coincidence. Carl Jung believed that some individuals naturally embody the archetype of the sea healer or wise one. Without saying a word, your calmness, your eyes, your quiet strength, they invite safety. That's attractive, because in a world full of noise, you represent something rare, emotional clarity. It's why people feel drawn to you. Even when you're silent, they feel understood. They trust you without knowing why. And trust, my friend, is the foundation of true attraction. 3. You don't follow trends, but somehow you still stand out. Fashion, social media, the latest gossip. You don't chase any of it. You live by your own rhythm. And even though you're not trying to be noticed, you're often the one who ends up being remembered. Carl Jung would say, you're someone who's individuating. A person moving toward their true self rather than copying the crowd. That journey to authenticity makes you magnetic. Real attractiveness isn't about being loud. It's about being real. And people can't help but notice the ones who carry their truth like a silent flame. You might think you're just being yourself. But what you don't realize is, being yourself is what makes you so irresistibly attractive. 4. You feel deeply, and others feel deeply around you. Maybe you've always felt emotions more intensely. You cry during movies. You sense when others are hurting, even when they smile. You're not overly sensitive. You're emotionally alive. And people feel that. Carl Jung believed that emotion is not weakness. It's a bridge, a powerful one. And when you carry this emotional intelligence, you don't just communicate with words. You connect through empathy, through feeling, through presence. People want to be around that kind of energy, even if they can't explain it. Because it's healing. It's rare. It's beautiful. And yes, it's deeply attractive. 5. You make others self-conscious without doing anything wrong. Have you ever noticed someone becoming defensive or competitive with you, even though you were just being nice? Or someone suddenly acting awkward around you? for no reason. This often means you're radiating something powerful, and it makes them question their own worth. Carl Jung would say that your presence activates their shadow, the hidden insecurities they try to bury. You didn't say anything. You didn't do anything. But by just being authentic, you unknowingly mirror back what they're hiding. That kind of psychological influence is rare, and whether people love you for it or resent you, it means they see something in you they either want or fear. That's not just attractive, that's powerful. 6. You don't see yourself as attractive, and that's exactly why you are. This may surprise you, but Jung believed that those who remain unaware of their own influence often have the greatest impact. Why? Because they're not performing, they're not pretending. They're living from a place of honesty and inner wholeness. You're not seeking validation, and that makes you stand out even more in a world addicted to attention. So if you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, "I'm just average," think again. The way you treat others, the energy you carry, the authenticity you move with, it's magnetic. You just haven't been told enough. But that's about to change, because as we move into the next section, you'll start to see yourself the way others do. Not just attractive, but irresistible in ways that have nothing to do with physical beauty, and everything to do with who you really are. But now, let's dive deeper. There's something else, something most people don't talk about. The fourth sign you're more attractive than you realize is how people secretly compete with you, even if you never invited them to a game. Have you ever noticed how someone tries to subtly outdo you in a conversation? You say you read a book, and they mention 5. You talk about your promotion, and they suddenly become overly competitive about their achievements. You walk into a room, and suddenly the energy shifts, as if your very presence becomes a silent challenge. Here's the truth Carl Jung would want you to understand. Your presence alone disturbs those who are unsure of theirs. You don't need to brag. You don't need loud clothes or flashy displays. You don't need to beg for attention. People feel your energy without you having to force it. And those who are insecure, they pick up on it before anyone else. This doesn't make you a threat. It makes you real. It makes you seen. Because real attraction isn't about physical perfection. It's about energetic command. You radiate something subtle, something inner. You own your space. And for some people, that's uncomfortable, because it reflects the parts of themselves they're still avoiding. The 5th sign, you're more attractive than you think. You attract deep conversations. People open up to you, sometimes strangers even. They tell you their dreams, their fears, their past wounds, and you wonder why. You may think, "I'm just a good listener," but there's more to it. Carl Jung said that people project their inner selves onto others, and they trust you not just because you're kind, but because you hold a mirror to their soul. You're not just attractive, you're magnetic, and people can sense it, even if you can't. Now, I want you to sit with this. If you've ever felt drained after talking to certain people, not because they're bad, but because they pour their entire emotional world onto you, that's a subtle sign of your power. Your attractiveness isn't just visual, it's emotional safety. You provide sanctuary, and only the truly rare do that. The 6th sign, and this is going to hit deep, is that some people will dislike you for no clear reason. You'll walk into a room with nothing but good intentions, and someone will immediately put up a wall. You'll offer kindness, and they'll respond with coldness. You'll try to help, and somehow they'll find a reason to be offended. Why? Because your light irritates the darkness they haven't dealt with yet. Jung often spoke about the shadow self, the hidden repressed parts of a person that they don't want to face. And when someone who is quietly confident walks in, someone who knows themselves, someone attractive not in looks, but in inner solidity, that shadow gets triggered. You're not the problem, you're the reminder. A reminder of what they want but don't have yet. a reminder of what's possible if they chose healing over hiding. So the next time you feel rejected or disliked without reason, don't absorb it. Observe it. It's not always about you. Sometimes it's about the silent war they're fighting within, and you're just the unfortunate reflection. This kind of silent rejection is ironically one of the loudest signs of your quiet power. And the seventh sign, one of the most beautiful, is your empathy. We live in a world where people are told to be hard, to be detached, to care less. But if you feel deeply, if you cry during films, if someone else's pain feels like your own, if you walk past a stranger and wonder how they're really doing, that's not weakness. That's beauty. That's depth. That's attraction. Jung would say, empathy is a connection between unconscious minds. It's how the soul speaks when words aren't enough. So if you're often told, you're too sensitive, or you take things too personally, understand this. It's not that you're too much. It's that the world has forgotten how to feel. Your ability to feel isn't a flaw. It's a sign of emotional wealth. And emotional wealth is far more attractive than anything money can buy. Now, before we move into the next part of this journey, I want to ask you, not just to reflect, but to really take this moment to reclaim your awareness. You are more seen than you know, more admired than you realize, more attractive than you've ever been told. And if you've made it this far, you're not just watching a video. You're awakening. You're stepping into a truth Carl Jung devoted his entire life to uncovering, that our inner world creates our outer reality. So watch until the end, because the remaining signs will change how you see yourself forever. So far, you've seen how truly magnetic qualities often hide in plain sight. Let's keep going. You may not even realize the effect you're having on people around you, but by the end of this video, you'll understand why they look at you the way they do, and why Carl Jung would say your essence speaks louder than your looks. Sign number 7, you're emotionally grounded. One of the most underrated forms of attractiveness is emotional stability. When you don't overreact, when you can stay calm under pressure, when others come to you during chaos because they trust you to be the anchor. You're attractive, not because you're loud or flashy, but because your calm is contagious. Most people today are emotionally volatile. But if you're someone who brings peace into a room instead of tension, that's power. Carl Jung believed that true maturity and depth come from integrating the different aspects of our psyche. If you've embraced your emotional side, understood your inner wounds, and learned to respond rather than react, people notice that, and they're drawn to it, even if they don't understand why. Sign number 8. You're mysterious in a natural way. You don't give too much away. You don't try to explain yourself. You leave people guessing, wondering, wanting to know more. That's not manipulation. It's simply you being whole within yourself. You don't feel the need to overshare. You don't need validation. Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. When you're mysterious, you create space for genuine connection, not performance. And let's be honest, in a world where everyone is shouting for attention, the one who says little, yet radiates presence, always stands out. Sign number 9. You're focused on growth, not perfection. Attractive people are those who are on a journey. They aren't trying to be perfect. They're just trying to be better than they were yesterday. You read, you listen, you reflect, you evolve. You take ownership of your flaws, and while others are busy chasing trends, you're building depth. This kind of mindset makes people respect you. It's magnetic. You don't have to be where you want to be. Just the fact that you're striving, that makes you radiant. Because as Carl Jung would say, the self is not something ready-made. It's something that must be brought into being. That alone makes you special. Sign number 10. You make others feel seen. People won't always remember what you said, but they will remember how they felt in your presence. If you have the gift of listening, real listening, where you're not waiting to speak but truly holding space for the other person, then you're rare. When someone talks to you and feels heard, validated, understood, you become unforgettable. In Jungian psychology, this is the anima and animus in action, the internal masculine and feminine balancing to create a whole self, one that connects deeply. When you see people clearly, they feel safe around you. And safety is the most underrated form of attraction. Sign number 11. You have a deep inner world. This one's not visible on the outside, but it radiates quietly. If you often find yourself lost in thought, if you reflect, analyze, imagine, if your inner world is rich, it shows in how you speak, how you move, how you look at things. You might not be flashy, but your words hit deep. Your silence feels full, not empty. And that's magnetic. Jung would say you are in touch with your unconscious mind, a person who's not living on the surface, but constantly exploring the depths. And people are drawn to you because being around you makes them feel something deeper than usual. Sign number 12. You inspire without trying. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just being you. But in being your authentic self, with your imperfections, your journey, your quiet strength, you give others permission to be themselves too. That's powerful. You don't need validation because you've already accepted who you are. You don't force connections. You attract them by simply staying rooted in truth. Carl Jung believed that the most attractive person is one who has embraced their shadow, accepted their darkness, and learned how to walk with light. If people often say, "You inspire me," even though you never tried to, that's one of the biggest signs. You are attractive, not because you fit into a box, but because you broke free from it. So, there you have it. 12 powerful signs that you're more attractive than you realize. And now, I'll ask you, how many of these signs did you resonate with? Let us know in the comments. Your story might inspire someone who doesn't yet see their own light. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Cognit Haven, where we turn deep psychology into life-changing wisdom. Your light is real. Let it shine. Hit like, share this with someone who needs it, and keep evolving.